Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and their professional teams struggle to find great capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy. Using a proven tax deferral strategy, such as the Deferred Sales Trust, is the best way to exit your highly appreciated assets tax deferred so you can create, preserve, and grow your wealth. I'm your co host, Pearson York, filling in for Brett Schwartz. In each episode, I'm joined by some of the best wealth, business, real estate, leadership individuals in the world to share ideas, deal stories, and inspirations. So together we can make complex tax deferral strategies simple and passive income plans achievable. We're also streaming on expertcresecrets.com, the Capital Gains Tax Solutions YouTube channel, Kingdom Luxury Realty YouTube channel, and the Kingdom Luxury Realty Facebook channel. And I'm super excited about our next guest. She's been in the elevator business for the last 20 or 10 years or so, grew up in it. And about 2 years ago, started a new property management, auditing, and elevator software called Automate. She's the founder and CEO. And so I'm super excited to introduce to you guys Ashley Wilson. Ashley, how you doing?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So Ashley, how'd you get started in the elevator business?
Nepotism? No, I was raised in the industry. My stepdad has been in the elevator industry my whole life. So it's really all I've ever known. And I joined in my early 20s. And I quickly found that customers were an afterthought. Customers didn't really understand their elevator contracts. And elevator companies just simply weren't doing their jobs. In over $100 billion a year industry, our clients are only receiving about 50% of the services that they're paying for. So that's a lot of money that building owners have flying out the windows.
Wow. Okay. So 50% of the actual like services that people are paying for, they're getting. So they're
On
not they're
average.
they're not getting half of the stuff they're paying for.
On average. Yep, that's correct. The
Wow.
industry is really niche. A lot of people don't understand, as we shouldn't really, the difference between a door operator and a door restrictor, or if it's covered under your maintenance contract. So when you own, a bunch of buildings, what you care about is the elevator going up and down, right?
Right.
And we assume that our engineers or our property managers have the education or the knowledge to know the differences of these services. And then many times they don't, because the industry is so niche. So what that results in is us overpaying for services and not getting the services that we're supposed to. And at the end of the day, this makes our equipment break down faster. Um, we're just losing money on elevators, really.
Wow. Okay. Um, this is fascinating because I didn't even know this was a problem. Like who did it? So okay, I want to dive into this, but before I do, I believe
Yeah.
everyone's been given a set of strengths or spiritual gifts or superpowers or whatever the on call 'em. What are one or two of your strengths that have led you to be as successful as you are today?
I get this weird magic vision thing that happens. I don't know if you've seen The Queen's Gambit, but where she's like playing chess on the ceiling. And that's really come in handy when it comes to building a business and building software. At the right times, I just see the path forward and how the data connects, and it feels really simple to me. And although it's not, it's really complex. And so I think one of my greatest gifts is being able to explain something that's extremely complex in a simple manner to make that accessible to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So mastering the concepts and being able to basically relate it to people so they understand it.
Yeah, that's right.
Sweet. Okay. So tell me about Automate. How did you come up with the idea? What's it do? Give me the lowdown.
Yeah. So, as you said, I was raised in the industry, and I was having a really difficult time with my morals and values. It just wasn't sitting right with me because I knew that customers just really didn't understand. They didn't know what they were supposed to be getting. So how do you know that you're not getting enough? And at the end of the day, this just didn't really feel ethical to me. So I left the industry not knowing what would be next for me. But the idea for AuditMate really hit me, that in order to help customers, they needed to really understand what they were supposed to be getting in a simple way. It shouldn't have to be so difficult. And so what AuditMate Care is it's our elevator and escalator auditing and management software. So we essentially create data modeling around the client's specific contract. And then our software ensures that they get 100% of what they're paying for. So what this means is you're required to get a certain amount of maintenance. We check that you get 100% of the maintenance frequency. Were they there every month? The maintenance duration. Were they there as long as they were supposed to be? The maintenance tasking. Did they do what they were supposed to do when they were on site? We also check for compliance. Is your permit up to date? Has the elevator vendor done the state required testing? And we also audit all financials. These big proposals will come into your property manager that will say, all of this work is required to be completed. Well, most property managers don't have the expertise to know, is that work supposed to be covered under the contract? How long is that work supposed to take? What's the average cost of those parts? So we will audit all proposals and invoices to ensure that they're not paying more than they should. So at the end of the day, what AuditMate software is doing is we've increased maintenance completion rates by 20% and we've decreased costs by 25%.
Awesome. Okay, so basically, you have this auditing software that
Yep,
holds the the service contractors accountable for doing their job.
that's correct. Yep.
Okay, and basically, and so how does it work? Do you have to like upload your invoices and that type of thing, or walk me through a little bit of the process?
Yeah, so we started that way. And we started with like property managers and building owners are going to be so excited to come on and drive this software. But at the end of the day, not really. They wanted us to do more of the heavy lifting, and so that's what we did. So we actually become an owner's representative, much like a property manager is to the relationship property manager to building owner. We become an owner's representative for all things vertical transportation. So we work directly with the vendor on the owner's behalf. So the elevator company sends us all of the maintenance records, or we extrapolate them using the vendor's own online portal. All maintenance invoices and proposals come directly to AuditMate. We negotiate on behalf of the building owner, and then we send that back to the building owner for the final decision. So by the time the building owner gets eyes on it, it's already been negotiated down, it's already been vetted. We let them know the entire process in a simple way, and we let them make the decision. So essentially, the only thing we don't do for the building owner is make the decisions.
So okay, so now you're more of the actual like elevator manager, and you just
That's right.
basically contract and you send reps out to make sure that they're done and held accountable, and then everything comes to you and
Yep,
funneled
we
through you.
Yep, we do it all online. We can come out and do physical inspections. But with all of the data that's out there, we get most of what we need online. This
Yeah.
keeps costs affordable for the owner. They can log on to their portal, see what's going on, see how much money they've saved. But most owners just want us to do it for them,
Yeah. No, I mean, I would. That's the whole point of
right?
you don't want to have to do that kind of stuff. So
Exactly.
how is this translating to right to increasing their NOI? I mean, like what's it doing to their bottom line?
Yeah, well, you're decreasing costs, right? And so it's cost. When I talk to building owners and asset managers in the beginning, I was like, how are people not mad? You're spending more money than you should. You're blowing out your budget with these unnecessary repairs. How are people not upset about this? And and much like you at the beginning of the podcast, people were like, I didn't know. I had no idea that this was an area that we could save money and reduce costs. So we're really there to show the ownership how much their potential is. We do a free contract analysis for folks so we can come in at no cost and let owners know what they're receiving of the value of their contract and what their potential savings could be in the next year.
Okay, awesome. So you're coming in and sharing, hey, listen, this is what you're currently paying, this is what you should be paying, or this is what you
Right.
should be getting for what you're currently paying, right?
Right.
For what you're currently, getting, this is how much you should be paying, and it's about half of what you're currently paying. So it's going to increase your NOI this percent, which is going to increase
Yep.
the value of your building by X percent.
That's right. And another thing is lack of preventative maintenance can lead to equipment needing to be
Of course.
replaced in as much as half the time, right? And so we want to extend out the life of that equipment as much as
Of course.
possible, which will also lead.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And so like how are the sales? If you
How
don't
are
mind me
our
asking.
sales?
Yeah, how are your sales?
Doing really good. So we were supposed to launch beta in March of 2020. We all know what happened to buildings in March of 2020. So we ended up launching beta in June, but it resulted in a cool opportunity because for the first time, office property managers had time to talk to us. Residential and retail were a little out of pocket at the time, and so we really focused on residential. We increased sales last year by 900%, and are continuing to scale. So right now our focus is hospitals, multifamily, and retail. And last year was mostly on office.
Wow. Okay. So sales are good, things are growing,
Yep.
and it's everything that you guys wanted and more. I'm sure.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it's all easy. It's
Yeah.
definitely it's a battle every day, right? And showing people how you're kind of like opening up the hornet's nest when a building owner's never really, it's not been a focus area before, and then to go in and show them that they've been losing all of this money um, can be really difficult. It can be a tough sell. And property managers block us,
Of
which
course.
was something that I didn't expect as much because it's a for them to go to the building owner or go to the property manager or the asset manager, excuse me, has been like, "Oh, hey, you can save all of this money. I should have been doing it this whole time." But really they can't. It's not their area of expertise. So there's been some navigating.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta navigate the waters because you're stepping on people's toes at some point, right?
Absolutely.
Like, you know,
Absolutely.
and I mean, we can relate that, really quick. So one of the things that we do is we have a strategic tax solution for property owners, right? Um, or anybody with a highly appreciated asset that we can go ahead and liquidate the asset and basically do a, for all intensive purposes, it's kind of like doing a 1031 into a self-directed IRA account. You don't have the
Mhm.
time constraints that you do with a 1031. You don't have the like kind constraints. So you can sell a business and go into real estate, or you can sell real estate and go into stocks, bonds, and a business, or you can sell Bitcoin and go into a business and real estate. It doesn't matter. You get all this like
Mhm.
freedom and flexibility and stuff. But what I have found to be one of the like hardest things to overcome is the professionals who you think would be like on your side that are
Yeah.
totally not. And they're
Yeah.
not for a number of reasons. Number one is like they're in a position of only risk because
Mhm.
if they come and they endorse something that they don't understand, right, and it
Yep.
backfires on them, they're going to
Yep.
look like the buffoons who are like, oh,
Mhm.
and they're going to be the ones that their license and stuff was on the line. The
Yep.
second thing is you have an ego where
Yep.
it's like, oh, hey, like, I'm a CPA for $100 million client, like I should have known this stuff, right? A lot
Right.
of times they don't know, and because they don't know, right, it makes them think
Yep.
like, oh shoot, like I'm not competent to do it. When
Mhm.
really it's just a super niche, and these events don't take place every day,
Right.
right? So people don't think about them all the time.
Right.
And then the third thing is that like they're thinking, well, are you trying to come in and like steal my clients?
Mhm.
And it's like, no, we're not. We're trying to come alongside you and help and do all that stuff. So, I mean, I can totally relate to where you're coming just from like doing the stuff with the deferred sales trust for those people. And if anyone's listening and you're like, well, what is he talking about? You can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com and check out the deferred sales trust. on there. And we also have a mastermind that's every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And actually, I'll definitely send you an invite to that, so
Please.
you guys can come and check that out. But it's an amazing thing where we bring all these people together to learn kind of like all of this stuff and ask questions and do all that kind of stuff. So there's my shameless plug. But so anyway, so okay, going back to your SaaS model here. So who are you currently like targeting right now? Who's the perfect client?
Perfect client is owner operator.
Okay.
Or really any owner that is wanting to save money. But we do well with owner operators because they care about the operations and they care about the money as well, right? When the property management and the owner are so separate, that you have to sell, the operation to the property management and sell the cost savings to the owner, it's more difficult for us. And the folks that I mean, like multifamily owner operators, retail, hospitals. I had a hospital tell me recently that we have engineers of all backgrounds. Someone that knows something about HVAC, plumbing, electrical. We're never going to hire anyone that knows about elevators and escalators because it's so extremely niche.
Yeah.
And so if you're a building owner thinking, well, Joe at X building is going to know a little bit about this and a little bit about that, they do, but not about elevators. And so having, someone on your side that speaks elevator but is watching out for your wallet.
Yeah, absolutely. So who is this not a good fit for?
Who is it not a good fit for? I would say if you're a really small building with just a couple elevators and you don't have many breakdowns, I would say don't call us until you have an issue.
Okay, so how many elevators is enough for you guys for it to justify the cost savings?
One elevator is enough to justify the cost savings if you're having issues. Because negotiating with an elevator company is extremely difficult. They've been in business over 150 years, all of them. They control 4 major companies, control 80% of the market share globally. They're used to holding all of the power. And so if you are a building owner that does not have a large portfolio, negotiating with that elevator company will be extremely difficult for you. So coming into AuditMate, you get to leverage our portfolio and that will help in those negotiations. And
Gotcha.
so, but if you're not having big problems, I would hold off until if and when that time comes.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, cool. Ashley, are you ready for the lightning round? We're starting to come up on our time here. So I definitely wanted to dive into this. I'm trying to find my little tag down here though. There it is. Cool. You ready to go?
Yep.
Okay. What's your favorite book?
Favorite book is probably Rising Strong by Brené Brown.
Okay. What's your favorite leadership quote?
Oh, it is not. Oh, am I going to be able to remember it? It is not our darkness that scares us the most. It is. I can't remember. It's by Nelson Mandela. Look at me on my lightning round. But essentially what he's saying is it is our lightness and our power that scares us the most, and not our darkness, not what we're without. So like really embracing your power and stepping through the fear that like you are powerful beyond measure.
Okay. What are you most curious about right now?
I am most curious about Eastern practices like meditation being proved by Western science. So I've been really nerding out on like what's happening in the brain and neurons and neural pathways when we practice Eastern practices like meditation and a lot of like yoga, Buddhism
Okay.
type things.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Well, Ashley, we're coming up on our time here. Do you have any parting words or any last piece of advice for the listeners?
Yeah, I would just say if you own real estate with elevators, it does not hurt to know what value you're getting. Even if it's something that's not a problem right now, you can reach out to us at auditmate.com and find the value of what you're currently receiving. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to say, "Hey, I'm getting 100% of what I'm paying for." But you would be one of the few.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Ashley,
Thank
for
you.
coming on the show. And thanks again, everybody, for listening to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where, as always, we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy such as the deferred sales trust and using things like AuditMate to help income and create that NOI and create that passive income is the best way to create, preserve, and grow your wealth. So thanks again, everybody, for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one.